There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit,
in tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now.
Oh my goodness, I got to say welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. So right out of the gate, let me make an announcement to everybody. This is a live call-in show today, 1-800-930-2819. I am pretty sure that Micah is not alone in answering phones, but even if he is, say hi to the folks out there. Let us tell you this out of the gate. We are going to take as many calls as we can because we have a special theme, but let me just say this to you. Micah, Jessica, Lydia, who is ever answering the phone, they're going to check your audio. They're going to make sure you don't have your speakers on in the background, because if you turn your speakers off, you'll be able to hear the show through the phone. And a lot of times people don't know that. But that's really what we're doing, because today, Mark, you are the champions. This was inspired by a couple of things that we'll talk about. Mark's going to kick it off by telling you why this theme is important to him. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about why it's important to me. But if you're not feeling like a champion, by the time you're done talking with us, we want to help you get there. We want to help you realize that losses, disappointments, rejections, they don't have to be the badge you wear through life. I'm not saying it's easy to hop beyond them, but I'm just saying, right, Mark? Are you saying?
I am saying this. Today is it's amazing, because when we were talking about this show, there's so many reasons why you are the champions from To the Moon and Back. And the reason that we're talking about To the Moon and Back, on July 21st, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first two humans to step foot on the moon. And Dr. Pat, if you'll indulge me for a minute, planet Earth thought everything was going just fine. But what had happened is 10 years before Apollo 11 landed on the moon, there was a young engineer who was sitting in a room with a bunch of other engineers when the vice president of Reaction Motor, which eventually became Morton Thiokol actually was Reaction Motor, said that the president, meaning Kennedy, is going to make a speech that we're going to land men on the moon within 10 years. You guys got to figure it out. Well, this young engineer, one of them was my dad. And he was looking at the plans for the proposed lunar module. And he said, we need to have retro rockets aside from the main boosters. And a lot of the engineers, they were giving him a hard time, calling him Rocket Man and teasing him. He said, no, we need the secondary back because when they land on the moon, the way you have it proposes. And the lead engineer said to him, Earl, what's your plan? So they developed retro rockets. All right. So it is July 21st, 1969. Aldrin and Neil Armstrong are on the moon, and the ignition switch for the module broke. And before that, the Eagle, the lunar module, overshot the landing spot by 20 miles and used up their spare fuel. And this was not public knowledge.
So much isn't public knowledge.
Isn't public knowledge.
Yeah, just saying.
And President Nixon had a speech prepared about how these heroes are going to die on the moon. and Buzz Aldrin, and what's really cool, Dr. Pat, is of course, I've met both Strong and Buzz Aldrin,
Wow,
and it's
nice.
like such an honor. And Buzz was the engineer, and so Neil said, "Can you fix this?" He did. He unscrewed an old style Bic pen. He goes, "We got one shot," and he jammed the pen into the ignition switch, pulled it up. They were praying. They heard a click, and the engines went off. Well, now they are out of school. Meanwhile, NASA had recalculated, the courses and everything, and so they did land up and they made it safe back to Earth. Well, a few years ago, I saw Buzz Aldrin when I met him, and I saw him talking, and he said, "Thank God we had retro rockets. If we didn't have retro rockets, we never would have made it off the moon, because that was our saving grace." And then it dawned on me, it was my father who came up with the idea. Now, my dad's not in any books. He's not in, well, my books, but he's not in a footnote any. But the thing is, sometimes being a champion doctor doesn't mean you're holding the gold medal at the Olympics. You're part of the team. Maybe you're in the background. Maybe you're simply a good parent. So being a champion, take that winning spirit to the moon and back, never received public accolade for it.
You're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, we're talking about champions today in so many ways. It's really important for us to do this almost every show. And I think Mark and I are going to be looking at that as we move forward. But you all are the champions. There's, just so everybody knows a little bit of the history on the show, Mark and I decided to do this show without any real agenda, but there was only thing in our hearts. First of all, for me, it was the first time I'd ever co-hosted a show with anybody else. So I've had a lot of guests, but not really do a show. But we both came to the same place. And somehow we realized in the middle of COVID, we have to help people. And, when you sit down and you put both our personalities together, put our skill sets together, we're really serious about this. That's why this show is a live call show. Now, some of the other shows we have guests on, but we're planning to also have guests and still it be a live call-in show. But for those of you out there that you may or may not know, this is a live call-in show, and you may be a little bit preoccupied today with something other than this show, because there is a lot going on in the world today.
Yeah.
But this is a live call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. So I want to just say this. There are champions. And Freddie, I know you're listening, Freddie Mercury. I don't know if Micah can find that song, but Freddie Mercury, Queen, for those of you out there, Queen, set the stage for a different kind of movement. And for those of us that were back there in the days of HIV and AIDS, in the stigma of it, if you're me, you lived in New York and you were pounding on Mayor Koch's door on a regular basis, but that each of us is called to decide what we believe in. Now, you may be listening to this and you're not interested in LGBTQ, or you're not interested in that, but you are interested in something in your life for yourself, your children, and your grandchildren. And today's show is about honoring the championship in all of us, regardless of what that is. Mark is going to do it and help us from the people on the other side when you call in. I'm going to, do it from what I hear.
Yep. And Dr. Pat has the most amazing background. I've worked with a lot of people in my life, but there's never been anyone like Dr. Pat. She has the most unique skill set, background, wisdom, and insights. And it was during COVID. We were talking.
It was COVID.
Yeah, because I was set to do a whole nationwide. It was the 2020 visionary tour. Rocky had it all scheduled, and then COVID, boom, all that canceled. And I was supposed to be in Seattle, and I was going to be on the Dr. Pat show. And and so we started talking, and it's like, we've got to get to people, and we decided, well, this is it. Yeah. And so we're coming up on 2 years now, I think. We launched the show in autumn of 2020, I believe. or sooner. I forget the exact, I guess I should know that exact date, but
Well, I don't know
uh,
the date because I don't live in the date world. I mean,
yeah,
you and I live in a world that's about where it's about the present moment. We're going to take a short break here because one of the things we're also going to share with everybody is, we're planning to do more for all of you. But you're right. COVID literally stopped our plans because we were advised our plans to launch our crowdfunding and launch our expansion of the network. We were advised. And so I took that advice to heart. And those advisors were right. But now we're ready. And so we're getting ready to launch our crowdfunding initiative. And you know why the timing of this was right? Because we're an independent network. We're not owned by the corporate, we're not owned by the top two media companies. We're not owned by telling us what we can say or not say. We're not owned by somebody that says you cannot put up an LGBTQ network, or you can't put up a Latino network, or you can't. We're not, that's not us. So this
yeah.
timing of this and launching this, we're planning for the fall. And you're going to hear a lot about that. But Mark and I show up here because you all asked for this. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why champion energy is the way to go. Whether it's Mark talking about his experience or where I was, if you want to know, you can look up the dates yourself. Go ahead. Where was I on June 28th, 1969? Where was I? June 28th, 1969. And if you don't know that, just Google that date. You might want to Google Greenwich Village. In today's world, if what happened on that date happened today, there'd be more pictures and images. By the way, there is only one picture of this life-altering, lifestyle-altering event. Let's take a short break, Micah. All y'all, will be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I want to just say you're listening to the Psychic and the Doc. And, Mark and I are going to be, Mark, myself, Linda, Jessica, Rocky, who's always on here, but she doesn't like show her face or anything. Like we can't even
Sometimes she makes an appearance. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't even get Linda to turn on her camera. So that's a whole different story. But we are planning some things, and it is around our expansion. It is around the direction of the show, because we're going to be asking all of you. We're going to be asking all of you. And one of the things that we're going to also be doing more is what is the word I want to say? We're going to boost the visibility of this show, and you'll hear about it as we do it. Mark and I right now, that has not really ever been our mission. We don't do this show to get likes or friends or I don't know, like whatever they are. We do this show because we want to help people.
It's our ministry.
It's our ministry. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. I had a friend who lived in Macon, Georgia, and he was a Baptist minister. And when I went to law school, I tried to make some friends that just weren't at the law school. And when I told him that I was a medium, and I was kind of like, "There's a Baptist minister," and he said, "Well, Mark, that is a service gift." And he said, "Perhaps your ministry is to use that gift to help people." And that's how I look at this, because a lot of times when people hear the term ministry, they think it's going to be, religious. And certainly what Dr. Patton and I do has a tremendous spiritual component to it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about being able to do this show is we're not tied into the confines of a religion. We can talk to people of any faith, of any background, and and help them emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So that is how I see it.
We're also not anti-religion either.
No,
let's just
not
make
at
that
all.
point. We're not that,
Yeah.
because that's not the space you come from, for sure.
No.
But I'm a spiritual hitchhiker. I know I am. I started out in a very strict religious place and they kicked me out. But then I became an explorer. And when I became homeless and I'm on the streets of New York and I'm 17, and I don't know what end of what is up. I saw these people on the corner, and I love what they were doing. They were doing what I now know are ancient Sanskrit mantras. I now know what they were doing. And when I saw them doing that, all I could think about, they have the cleanest white clothes. They're asking people to talk to them. I needed a shower, I needed food, and I walked up to them. And within hours, I had clean clothes. But I gained something more from that. It changed my way of the world. It changed my thinking. Did I pronounce the mantras correctly standing on the corner with them? I had to play the tambourine. That was my requirement. I had to. But we never know the changes in life. And we have people calling into the show. I want to say 1-800-930-2819. But I do want us to talk about a champion, right? Because people see you, Mark, you are a champion as well. They see what you've done in the world. They see how you've come out and represented a group of people that were looked at as pariah, right? Mentally ill. And what you've been able to come out and do is say, no, we're not. And help people understand that these experiences they have are not enough to make them crazy. However, we must say that back in the day, they locked people up if they did what you did.
They did. In some parts of the world, mediums, psychics are still put to death.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so we are not anti-religion,
No.
because, you know, there's a Hindu saying that I really love, is that there are many paths up the mountain, and the only person on the wrong path is the one running around the mountain telling everyone else their path is wrong.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, let's go to the phones. I think we have Denise on there, Micah. Why don't you bring on Denise? Let's see what we can do to help Denise today.
Hello.
Hi, Denise. Hey, welcome to the show, Denise. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you. Thank you. The one thing I want to say, though, I can never find you on my iPad, on my computer. I go nuts and I listen for about 20 minutes and I realize, wait a minute.
I can't understand.
You can't hear me?
Let me tell you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm going to address your question. I'm going to tell you, you're absolutely right. Okay. Denise, are you still there?
Yes.
Denise? Okay. I want to tell you, you're right. Yeah. Can you hear me? Denise?
Yes.
Okay. You're absolutely right. Mark and I have not done very much to put a website up for the show, and we are going to. And so you're right. You can't find us. We don't even have a social media page. That's going to change. Now, why is that? Because we entered this venue, Denise, really not about self-promotion, but we realized to our own demise that if you can't find us, we can't help you. So we are going to correct that. So how can we help you today? I'm going to turn you over to Mark. How's that sound?
Hey, Denise.
Okay. Thank you. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Now you're coming through crystal clear.
Good. Good. What she was talking about earlier about, being 17 and finally meeting somebody, I think that's absolutely fantastic. And religion, where she went. But I was raised Catholic, and from like 17 to about almost 30, I gave it all up and just partied. And I tell you what, I was slipping down a steep slope. And for me personally, when I finally decided, hey, will you help me? My life turned around.
Yeah. Denise, thank you for sharing that. I don't want you to get the misunderstanding about me. I was raised Catholic as well.
No, I love you.
but I have to tell you, I never forgot my closeness to Jesus. And by the way, do you know what I got kicked out of Catholic boarding school for? I got kicked out of Catholic boarding school at age 6. First of all, no 6-year-old should be in Catholic boarding school. But do you know what I got kicked out for? Because Jesus spoke to me from the 9th station of the cross, and he told me my mother was with him. And I told Sister Michael Anthony, and she grabbed me by the hair, and we went into Mother Superior. And Mother Superior lifted up her head with tears running down her face because she had a note from my dad that my mom just died. So I got kicked out of
Wow.
school for a very good reason, or not, because my stepmom would not let me take back the truth. And they wanted me to say I didn't really talk to Jesus. But to this day, when I'm in New York, I go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. I get the
Yeah.
holy water from there. And so what I've learned is I have, like you,
Oh.
I went and partied, I went crazy, and I had to come back to the truth. And that is,
Yes.
we have the divine that we can count on. Now, how can Mark help you? Because he's also good at that too.
Is there, can anybody up there? I've been alone a very, very long time. I'm not still happy, but I mean, you know, I'm getting up there in age, and I'm just wondering, can anybody tell me, am I going to spend the rest of my life alone, or will I meet someone? I don't do much to meet anybody. You know, he's definitely going to have to be the mailman coming to the door.
Well, all right. I don't think this requires spirit communication to answer that question. You get out of something what you put into it. So if you're putting absolutely nothing into putting yourself out now, granted,
Well, I am, but I mean, it's just been so many years.
Yeah.
Right, but we're dealing in a COVID world, and that's
Yeah.
difficult. But what I'm going to recommend, and Dr. Pat, you
Yep.
can definitely follow up on this.
Go ahead, Mark.
Is do activities that you enjoy doing. If it's volunteer work or something with a church or some other organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then, you're going to start meeting people who are also in your age range who are interested in that. But to say that, oh yes, your Aunt Martha from the other side says you're, and all of a sudden there's a knock at the door and Prince Charles has dropped Camilla and he's come just for you. No, that's not going to happen.
Well, I definitely realize, you know, that's not going to happen. I have a locked fence.
Well,
so,
let me give you some tips.
But I do go out. I'm just wondering, because, you know, some people are meant, whether they're meant to or not, maybe that's the wrong way to put it, you know, to just go about their way without a partner, without, you know, companionship.
No, let me just help you with this. No, the people that don't have partners or companionship really don't want them. And so the universe gives you what you desire. So let me just get it right there, right now.
Yeah.
And the first thing that we all have to do, for those of us that may or may not want a partner, is we have to be starting to think that I am not one of those not wanting a partner people. I really want to be with somebody. So you got to shift that thing like right now. So you got to change that.
Right.
Because the universe says, oh, wait a minute. I hear Denise. Denise thinks, oh, I'm never going to be with anybody again. So you know what? Let's not give her anybody, because we'll give the person that's supposed to go to Denise to somebody else. I just made that up. I don't know that that's what they do, but
no, I understand. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So that's the thing I want you to, no, I don't believe that we were meant to be alone, because if we were, and I've said this a million times in 20 years, each of us would have been given our own planet. That would be like, we have to be alone. But the other thing I want to say to you is this. I remember being exactly the place that you were in. And a friend said to me, you need to volunteer, Pat. And I said, volunteer for what? And they said, what do you believe in? And I was just moved to Seattle, and I volunteered for something here called the Chicken Soup Brigade. And I stuffed turkeys, and I delivered meals, and I met the most incredible people. You see what I'm saying? You got to get in the game to win the game. Find something that you can do, but being of service and doing that, and it's something you love, right? Get out there in that way and stop looking. It will find you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And let me tell you something, guys. We can smell the desperation vibe, even the most unspiritual guys at all, and then we turn into Peter Pan and fly away to Never Land. Okay, and that's just it. So love yourself, be yourself, do everything Dr. Pat told you, and you will find the doors will open. You know, you try to grab a butterfly, it's gonna fly away. When you don't, it'll land on your shoulder.
And you got to stop with that question. You got to stop with that question, right? You got to right away. You got to stop asking that question. Are some people meant not to be together? No, the people that are not with someone, literally don't want to be with someone. Even if they say they do, there's something underneath them, right? And believe me, I know this. I've worked with couples. I've worked with people before they're couples. If you start by letting go of that question, just let go of the question. Got me? And then think,
Uh-huh. No, I
oh,
understand.
yeah, maybe I don't want to stuff chickens and turkeys like Pat, but maybe I could do something. That's your mission. If you choose to accept it, say amen.
Amen. Well, I
Hallelujah.
totally enjoy I totally enjoy speaking with both of you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Denise.
And I will
Thank you so
definitely
much.
take what you said to heart.
Oh, okay, but then you got to call back in and you
That's
got to
right.
let us know where you are with that. Okay, so
Okay.
in case we
Okay.
need
I
to help you
definitely
with
will.
that. Okay, good. Thank you. I
Okay.
love it. All
Thank
right, good.
you.
Thank you,
Uh,
All
Denise.
right.
I
Bye-bye.
love it. Thank you. I right? I mean, I've been in her shoes and I've subconsciously brought stuff into my life that I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want that. Okay. We're going to talk about this after our next caller because I'm getting ready to play in a table tennis tournament this weekend. And I had one of those thoughts and I just had to put my brain tap on to say, you need to get rid of that thought, Pat. Micah, let's go to the phone. I know we have CJ waiting. Hi, CJ. Totally wanted to ask you if you got your air conditioning done.
Oh, that was my mom, Myra.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So did the air conditioner, what happened to the air conditioner?
Um, it didn't get fixed, not
Oh
yet.
I'm praying
But
for you.
she did do her big ask.
Did she? All right. This is your nickel. How can we help you?
Hi. I think I remember last week when Mark Anthony did my mini reading, and he gave the description of the spirit, and I've been thinking, and I singled it out to a couple of women who I think it might be. But
Okay, that's good. Well, all right, let me say, CJ, and this is a constructive suggestion. You overthink and overanalyze everything that comes in. And in my book, The Afterlife Frequency, I have a chapter called Avoiding the No, No, No Syndrome. And the no, no, no syndrome is not just saying no to everything that comes in. It's also hyperanalyzing and overthinking it. You're so worried about who is it that you're not listening to the message. Okay. So, and the thing is, a lot of people do this. It's a natural thing. So you're so worried about who it is, you needed to be listening to the message that they were giving you. All right. So that's my advice when approaching spirit contact. You have to be very open. And what happens is, you said you narrowed it down to maybe 2 women. Guess what? It could be both of them, because that's what is known as collective consciousness communication. You see, spirits aren't just individuals floating around. Yes, they're individuals, but they're connected. You've heard the expression, CJ, we're all cells in the body of God, right?
yes.
Okay, so are spirits, except they're even better at it because they're pure energy and their vibrations higher. So you may have a collective of people, a whole committee coming through to give you information. And there's a female energy coming through now, and she's showing me pink roses, big pink roses, and I'm smelling roses and rose water. And this lady, I see her wearing a pink dress. She definitely liked pink. Real feminine lady, but a strong personality. She liked her hats. I can see her hat. Let me tell you, when she went to church on Sunday, she was decked out. And what I'm getting with her is she had a very hard life. She worked real hard. And the thing is, she never let it get her down. And toward the end of her life, I see that she was very old. She must have been late 80s, early 90s. I'm feeling, when I say I'm feeling, this is her. My spine, in the spine in her back, she must have had osteoporosis. I'm also feeling pain in my hips. So she was having a real hard time walking and getting along. And here's the thing, CJ, she was still sharp as a tack right up to the end. Her passing was not unexpected. It was a long, slow decline. And then when she did go, it was very gentle. So there is this female energy around you, and she has a message for you. She said that you drink from the well of knowledge, but you tend to spit it out. And what she's telling me is that you have a very keen natural sense of wisdom, but you doubt yourself. So you drink from the well of wisdom, but then you doubt yourself, and that's where you're spitting it out. So her message for you is you have to trust yourself, because that's the lesson to learn from her life. She grew up in an era where being African American was extremely difficult. She was treated as not just a second class, but a third class citizen. And you know what? She didn't give a damn. That's what she said. She just pushed forward anyway. She said, because I knew in my heart I was perfect just the way I am. And that's the message that she's giving you, CJ. You're wise, you're intelligent, you're perfect the way you are. So stop doubting yourself. Trust your feelings. And that's her message for you.
What do you think about that?
Okay. Well, yeah, I do have that kind of problem, I guess, where I doubt knowledge sometimes. But yeah, that was definitely like definitely with 8 roses. I think that's where the 8 came from last time. But that was
You're
nice.
overthinking again. Overthinking again. Go right for the
Oh!
message. See, no, go right for the message. Well, I think that's right because I kind of do that. See, you're no. Overthink. Get that out of there. Trust yourself. Drink from the wisdom of your own, from the well of your own knowledge. Start having confidence in yourself. But I bet you're going to spend the next week wondering, who was that? Instead of what was that message? And that's why that message came through for you. So I'm going to leave that with you, and we look forward to you calling back.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to add one thing to it. You ready?
Yes.
So I totally get the overthinking thing. I know what that's about. And what I realized for myself, now I'm not saying this is you, but what I did realize for myself was the reason I did that, and especially when I was younger, I didn't want to feel anything. And so the way not to feel anything is to either numb it with drugs and alcohol, or either think it to death, or both. And so I'm not saying this is you, but just be aware, if you start to think about something and really start to go over and over and over again, ask yourself, what am I afraid to feel about this? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm telling you, you know how I know this? I've been you. That's how I know it. Oh, I'm gonna have to think about the advice I just gave her for myself right now. Thank you for tuning in. Listen, 1-800-930-2819. Mark, what I think we should do is take a short break. But before we go and take a short break, can folks know how they can find out about you, how they can find out about how to get copies of your books? It's not just one book, it's like books. How to find out about your schedule because you're getting out in the world again, all of that.
Absolutely. Please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And when you go there, go to the calendar of events. I'm having a Light Circle Spirit Communication event Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's sold out, Sunday's still available. I think there's 1 or 2 tickets left. And a Light Circle is limited to 6 people. So that way everybody's guaranteed a reading. You can find out about signing up for phone readings, my books, and I invite everyone, please sign up for my newsletter, and you can follow me on social media. And all of that is at afterlifefrequency.com.
Yes. And for those of you out there that are absolutely right, like Denise was, you're right. we are going to do more. There is a website that is underway, and we will be doing more to put Psychic and the Doc website up, and all of our shows will be there. So just give us a little bit of time here, because yeah, we're going to get it done. Micah, why don't we take a short break? When we come back, we still have more people on the lines. We are going to get right at it and get Jackie, Orange County. I think I went to school down there. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You are listening to the Psychic and the Doc. Jackie, we are going to get right to you. For those of you out there that heard this and heard Denise say, oh, we don't know how to find you, you're right. But we will be changing that over the next month. So just hang in there with us if you don't mind.
You know, and that's a good point, Dr. Pat, because one of the side effects of COVID in the positive sense is that the intercommunication technology, the Zoom, like what you're doing with the Transformation Network.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time I was on the Dr. Pat show, it was strictly radio. Now people see us, hear us, interact with us.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening, everybody. The Transformation Network is, you know, they're about to launch from here to the moon. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a real positive thing.
And, you know, people have said to me, man, we've been hearing you talk about it for years, but what I don't talk about is what we mentioned today. So I don't get on air and say what happened during COVID. I just don't talk about it anymore. But I'm telling you now, we are ready to launch, and we are ready to get this rolling right now. Jackie, are you there?
All right, Jackie, are you there?
Hi, Jackie from Orange County.
Hello, Jackie.
Hi.
Jackie.
Hello?
From Orange
Jackie.
County.
Hey.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
Can
great
you
to
hear me
have you.
okay?
Oh, beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. How can we help you today?
So, first of all, I just really wanted to let you guys know that I really love your show, and I see it every Thursday, and I look forward to seeing it on my time because I live in California time.
Yes.
So, thank you for always just doing your show because it really helps.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
So one of the things that, you know, I've been struggling the last couple of months. So for me, I'm an empath, so I feel everyone's energy. And there's some people energy I mix well. I get along well. They have really good personality. And then there's other people that we just don't mix well.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time letting go of people that have hurt me in the past, or maybe mistreated me, or we just had the differences in opinion, and we're not friends anymore.
Okay.
So
how can we help?
how can I let go of them?
Yeah.
If they're not, if they're just toxic people, and they seem to be energy vampires where they blame everything on
I get it.
me or on other people, and they don't take responsibility.
I get it. So here's what we're going to do. I don't know if the message is going to come through from Mark, but Mark's going to see if there's a message coming through, and then I'm going to help you with this. I have a lot of experience. Okay. As a matter of fact, absolutely talked about this today in a show that's going to play, the show I did with Master Chief Courtney Cottrell. And that show is going to air shortly. And we talked about this. So you must be like reading my mind or something, but I'm going to turn you over to Mark now.
I could give you a short story.
Hold off on the stories. Hold off on the stories. We honestly don't need the story because listen to what I'm about to say.
We're running out of time, and I have a spirit here, and you're blocking it.
And we understand you. We understand your pain. So hold on. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. All right, here's the thing, CJ. There's a gentleman coming through. He feels like he very possibly could be on the parent level, but it feels more like the grandparent level. And I'm getting lots of smoke, cigarette smoke, and I feel like my lungs are burning. So chances are he was a heavy smoker, maybe died from lung cancer, emphysema, COPD, because they all feel very similar to me the way I experience it. And what he's telling you is, and it's interesting because the smoke is this toxicity, and it's fascinating the way you're talking about these toxic people. He said that you need to be thankful that they've been in your life because they've all been a lesson of who not to associate with. So stop worrying about letting them go, just learn from it, but you don't have to have anything to do with them. And then he just took a drag off the cigarette and flicked it away. Interesting. Drag off the cigarette, which is the toxic substance, and flicked it away. Go ahead. Who's it sound like?
Yeah, it sounds like my grandfather. And it also sounds like my uncle. But my uncle did die of cancer.
Okay.
And
Did one of them?
He had problems with the lungs.
Okay, so yeah, let's go with that one because that's who matches up the most. And he also, and I know you're in California, and the bear is on the flag there, but he showed me a grizzly bear. Now, other than the flag of California, is there anything about a grizzly bear? What do you associate when you think of that?
Yes. So I study spirit animals, and I do spirit animals reading from the side. And I have been pulling the spirit animal card of the grizzly bear when I do my own readings. It's either the grizzly bear or the black bear.
All right, hold on. That is the verifiable fact following the message. When a spirit gives me a message, I'm an explanatory advisory nature, and then they follow it up with an objectively verifiable fact. You're always pulling up the grizzly bear card. That verifiable fact is how the spirit's letting you and I know we've properly received and interpreted the message. So stop worrying about letting them go. Instead, learn from the message. Just don't have anything to do with them. Dr. Pat, over to you.
So I want to just put this out to you. One of the things that I want to ask you, do you actually believe you have the right to have the people in your life that you want, and only those people?
Yes.
Okay.
For the past couple of months now, I have been really trying to focus on people that I really want, that are happy, positive, and just full of love and light.
And so for you right now, this may be the place you are right now. And I know what you're talking about. There are points in time in my life where I couldn't be around certain people in my life. And that didn't mean that they were going to be out of my life. But I'm just curious, what is in the way of you being around the people you want and not being around the people you don't want to be around? What seems to be getting in the way of that?
I think it's because since I'm an empath, I feel like I have to help everyone. Because
that's a different.
Because naturally, I'm so compassionate. I have a light, loving heart.
Let me interject real quick, then back to
Mark.
you. Go ahead and look out the window, because I'm pretty sure that they've just delivered your cross and they're setting it up there so you can get nailed to it later. Okay, Dr. Pat.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm an empath too. But because you're an empath, it doesn't mean that we have to save other people. We can be an empath and see the gift of being an empath is to understand people at a very deep level. And sometimes the problem is we think we have to help them and we don't. See, you can look at people and understand them at the deep level and call in your higher energy spirits to help them. Because 9 times out of 10, you and I can't help them. What's going on with other people, they require a different intervention, right? And so you have to really learn some discernment. I mean, I had to walk away from people in my life because it was so painful for me. And that doesn't mean I don't get back to them eventually, but this is really that you're really at a crossroads right now, because if you don't do this, and you know the way of the empath, if you don't do something to help yourself, self-care on this, you will bear the burden of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying right now. And you know, I've been taking courses about empaths and setting boundaries.
Well, no, it's not even that. People. I mean, okay, so let me help you. I only have a couple minutes left. You know, the word trying is like, I wish there wasn't like even a word. The question that I'm asking is, what is the action that you would have to take? Just pick one person and tell me what the action would be you would have to take. Don't tell me their name, but just tell me. What action would you have to take?
To stop worrying about people that I can't help.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know, somebody said something to me
I
about
think
that
that's
the other day.
Main goal. Yeah.
You know, who do you think the pilot of the ship is? See, we think we're the pilots.
A captain.
No, spirit.
Someone that's strong.
No, it's not even a person. If you believe in spirit or spiritual faith, because that's what the bear is about. If you believe in that, then you have to also believe that that is an intelligence that knows how to help other people, and that your focus is on helping you. See, and if we don't believe in that divine intelligence, then we think we're able to step in and help when then that intelligence can't. That's not our jobs.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful advice.
But can you please call that divine intelligence in to help yourself? Can you say, please, divine intelligence, help me with this. I need help with this. This is something I'm trying to change. It's not easy, Jackie. It is not easy.
I know.
But I know you can do it.
Okay. Thank you so much for all your help. I greatly appreciate it. And you guys are amazing.
Yeah, you are too. Listen, Mark, the reason I know Jackie can do it is because she called into the show.
Right.
That's how I know that Jackie is on her way. Right. Wow.
Absolutely.
What a great show. Mark, thank you so much. What a great group of people, huh?
Yeah. And we're going to be back next week. And I believe we have another call-in show next week. So everybody that didn't get a chance to call in tonight, please call in. Let your friends know. Dr. Pat and I will be back every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
I love it. And Mark, give out your website one more time for people.
afterlifefrequency.com, and there's still time to sign up for the Sunday Light Circle Spirit Communication online event. And we're the Psychic and the Doc. This is the Transformation Network. Everybody, your champions from here to the moon.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on the Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.